Honestly, I forgot, so I had to get the stuff. Honestly, I forgot, so I had to get the stuff. Honestly, I forgot, so I had to get the stuff. Honestly, I forgot, so what's up, y'all? Just wanted to bring y'all a video today to talk to you about the importance of premarital counseling. When I got married when I was 25, so I hadn't moved out of my parents' house yet. I clearly didn't own my own home. There are a lot of things in life that you haven't done and experienced at 25 or whatever age you might be when you get married. The point is, I had never been married before, so as you would expect, I don't know how to be married. So don't you think it makes sense to go get that information from someone who does, or who at least has had that experience so they can help you? Just like anything else in life, it's always good to seek counsel when going into something that you know nothing or not much about. So go get that counseling. All right. I have here a book that me and my wife, now wife, back then fiance, used when we were personally going through premarital counseling. Here's the reason why you do need to do it. It helps you learn more about yourself and about the person that you're with. And the reason why that's important is because you want to make sure that you know who you are. You want to make sure that you can be able to give the person that you choose to spend your life with and your time with the things that they need, and that you can be able to get the things that you need from them as well. And you can't know that if you don't know yourselves or each other. So that's the most important thing. It teaches you how to better handle adversity, teaches you how to better handle conflict, how to handle differences, how to communicate properly, and how to work through the challenges that are going to come up that are going to be unexpected. So no one is just born innately knowing these things. You don't just learn these things on your own. You learn by actual doing, but it's hard to just go out there and wing it without having a set of instructions or rules or guidelines, if you will. So it's important to have a strong foundation, because as we all know, without a strong foundation, there are a lot of things that you might think you know, but you don't really know, that you don't think about, right? Give you a little scenario here. What do you think your spouse or significant other requires from you to be happy in your relationship on a weekly basis? Does anybody know? I'll wait. No? Nobody? I do. You want to know why? Because I have a list. You have to write stuff down. You might think you know, but you don't really know until you know, if you know what I mean. I'm just going to give you some examples here, what things you might need from your spouse or they might need from you in order to be happy on a weekly basis. So me and my wife have here a list of his and her needs, right? Now, we made this list because list of 10 things that we need from each other. And we know that if we hit those 10 things, we'll always stay together and always be happy. Now, the importance of premarital counseling is, why it's important to have this list is, if you don't know what your spouse or, partner might need from you, you might be doing it wrong and not even knowing it. And then sometimes you just might find yourself later on wondering, I do everything for her, or I do everything for him, and I don't get nothing back. This is some BS. I'm out. I'm going to help you avoid that, all right? Here's a list of a couple of things that you might need from your spouse. We're just going to go ahead and start off with number 1, sexual fulfillment. Do you think most people need that in a relationship? Yes. Okay, number 2, recreational companionship. Do you need a companion in life? Some people do. We all do, technically, but some people don't need that as much as others. Do you know how much your spouse needs that? An attractive spouse. How important is that to you? It's important to me. I know it's important to a lot of people. Might not be as important to some people. I'm guessing if you're not attracted to your spouse, you probably wouldn't be with them. But some people, you need to think about this. You're going to be with that person now forever. Or for however long you plan on being with them. Is that really what you want to look at every day? Might want to think about that. Domestic support. I'm going to let y'all look that up. Admiration. Do you want to be admired by your partner? Of course you do. Why wouldn't you? How important is it to you that your partner admires you? Affection. We all need it, but how important is it to you? Now, how do you know how much your partner needs it? You might be with someone who needs affection, who shows affection in different ways than you do. Now, maybe affection is not as important to you. Maybe you don't need to be touched as much, but maybe your partner does. How do you know how much he wants to be touched? And I don't mean in that way. I mean physical touch. How do you know how much he needs? And how do you know to give it to him? You can't just be out here guessing. I certainly don't want to be doing that. Huh? We all know what assuming means. You know, make a out of you and me. I'm just saying. Conversation. We all talk. We all need to talk about stuff. But how important is it for you and your spouse to have conversation about whatever you have conversation about? Your spouse might need to talk a lot more than you do. Or you might need to talk a lot more than your spouse. Does she know that about you? Does he know that about you? I don't know. Honesty and openness. That is like the key to every relationship. If you don't have that, you're going to fail guaranteed 100% of the time. And if you're not, if you don't think you are, you definitely lied to yourself. Honesty and openness, you got to have it. But how important is it to you once again? Is it number one on your list, or is it maybe number 2 or 3? It's your list. Financial support. Obviously, if you're financially where you need to be, then financial support is not really that important to you. But to people who are not, it might be to you. You got to know that about the person you're going to be with. And family commitment. All right. Now, we all have families. At least we come from some sort of family. So it's important to know how important family is to you and to your spouse so that you can fulfill all these needs in each other. I knew that my spouse needed all these things when we were dating before we got married, but I didn't know the order of which, how important they could be to her. For example, I have here a list of his needs and her needs, right? Now, for me, the number one thing for me in a relationship is honesty and openness. For her, it's the same thing, honesty and openness. Like-minded people, we have the same core values. That's our foundation, honesty and openness. As long as we have that, that's like the best foundation. That's a good start, right? For me, number 2 is affection. Number 2 for her, also affection. Now you see why we married. See, it's a lot of things. Number 3, admiration for me. Number 3 for her, also admiration. Sorry, not everybody's as lucky as me. You know what I'm saying? We didn't even make this list together. We made this list separately, and we just found out that, like, literally, our stuff was, like, matching up, you know, at least so far. Number 4, here's where things get a little different, right? Number 4 for my needs, sexual fulfillment. But number 4 for hers, recreational companionship. She needs a partner. Y'all, we all do. But clearly, having a partner is more important to her than sexual fulfillment. That's alright. That's okay. So that tells me that if her number 1 thing was honesty and openness, I need to do that all the time. Affection, I need to find the different ways in which she likes being shown affection and do that. And she does the same, vice versa. You see what I'm talking about? Admiration, she needs to be admired. Find ways to admire your spouse. You know what I'm saying? Let them know how you feel about them. Because if they don't you might be with a person that needs to be let know that. And if you're not doing that, you're not fulfilling your part of the relationship, which means you're increasing the possibility of it not working out. Preach, say preach. Now, number 5 for her is sexual fulfillment. And number 5 for me is compensation. Now, you see, things, like I said, we all need these things, but how important is it to us and the people we're with? Because it's important for you to give your whoever you're with the things that they need from you in order for the relationship to work, and vice versa. Because you're not in a relationship to take care of yourself. You're in a relationship to take care of who you're with, and vice versa. And if you're both doing that, then you're both being taken care of, and nobody should ever be neglected. And that don't mean there ain't gonna be no problems, but there's significant reducing the chance of a problem and giving you a better chance of helping you, work that problem out when you got that problem. Number 7 for her, whoa, I just skipped a number, hold up. Number 6 for her is now that's number 6 for me, sorry. It's an attractive spouse. That's number 6 on my list. Right? For her, number 6, financial support. Different things. We all need it. I need financial support. She needs it. But for me, it's more important to have an attractive spouse than to have her give me financial support. I'm just being honest. And number 7 for her, for number 7 for me is conversation. I know I said that before. We're going to come back and fix that. Number 7 for me is conversation. I don't talk that much. I'm not a talker. So conversation is important to me, but you can clearly see there are a lot of things that are more important to me than that. But obviously, in order to communicate, you need to speak. But of course, there are more than one way to communicate. But as we know, speaking is is the easiest, most obvious way of communicating. It's the best way to communicate. So you need to have conversation, not just conversation about things that you have to talk about, but things that you just like to talk about. All right. Number 7 for her, recreational companionship. Wait, sorry. Family commitment. I keep getting these numbers wrong. It's crazy. I don't know what's going on. Family commitment. I know it's on my list. Family commitment hasn't come in yet. That's all right. Don't mean it's not important. It just means that some other things need to be taken care of first. And number 8 for her. Number 8 for me is family commitment. And number 8 for her is an attractive spouse. Now, that don't mean it's not important for her spouse to be attractive. But if you check a lot of these boxes, if you check all these boxes for your spouse, then you're definitely with the right person. This gives you the better chance of success than failure. And for the last one, I have financial support, and she has domestic support. And then for my last one, I have domestic support, and her last one is, what do we have here? I'm missing something. Hold up. Stop. I don't remember. But you get the point. Alright? The whole point of this video is just to let you guys know, for real, go out there, and you don't necessarily have to go seek out a therapist to speak to, to get that counseling and spend all this money. These are things that I'm just giving you an example of things that you can do on your own. If you guys would like to I have a lot more of these examples, a lot more of these things, because we've been through it. I've been married for over a year now, and I'm still relatively new to this, but there's a lot of stuff that I've had to figure out. There's a lot of stuff that I knew going in, a lot of stuff that I didn't know. It just helps you to better function and be happier in your life when you know these things and you can just do them, as opposed to guessing, trying to figure it out. That's not the way to do anything. Guessing, trying to figure it out, not knowing what you're doing, but doing it anyway. It might work out for you sometimes, but if it don't, who you got to blame? So get that information, and this is it for this video.